What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Bets and Run Pure Sports. Tyler, we are running pure right now on the website. Everybody's hitting. It's a great time to be a member. How you feeling today?
I'm good. I wish we could have got that Pelicans play home, but we jumped on that Wizards money line live to cover it last night. So see what we can
Yep.
find today.
And like American Express says, membership has its privileges. I'm sitting here. I'm not even paying attention to that game because at that time I was sweating. What was my first game? Denver. I get the message. Um, put the Wizards bet in, flip over to that one, and hey, it was quite the Friday night. And we know how hard Friday nights are in the association. I think Friday night is the hardest night to cap in the association. So well done to you there. And let's take a look at what I would call a funky Saturday. The first game is our ESPN game. And Tyler, do you remember that memo they put out at the beginning of the year that the stars weren't allowed to sit out on national TV games? Do you know
Yeah,
what became of that?
you know what every team did with that? They balled it up and shot it right in the garbage can.
Yeah, what's that Jimmy Butler gif where he's just like,
Yep, and just throws it right over his shoulder.
so yeah, we got a little extra time today, so I thought I would start by asking you a question. I think the NBA needs to do something about this. In Major League Baseball, if I bet on Jake DeGrom today and then he gets pulled, my bet is no action, or I have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm only making this bet if Jake DeGrom is there. I think that the NBA or the sports books need to do something on these NBA because it's absolutely criminal if you had Utah minus 9.5 yesterday and now it's minus one. And we had talked before we went on about a couple different ways that we could approach this. One of my ideas is 60% of the starting lineup has to start. Um, something to that effect. What do you think, and what would be the best way for the sportsbooks to approach this? Because if anyone's going to get turned off from NBA betting, and I know they're partnering with DraftKings and trying to get this up and going, it's a guy that went to bed last night, laid Utah 9.5 before he went to bed, figured, hey, I'm going to wake up, enjoy a game, especially if you're on the West Coast because it's like a 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock start, right? You wake up to this news, and now you see you've lost 8 points of value. I mean, you're going to be like, I'm not betting NBA anymore. What time does you know, what time does college basketball or NFL or Major League Baseball or anything else start? Because it's not a good feeling, and it's going to dissuade you from continuing to handicap the association. What do you think they should do about this?
I think it's tough because it's one of the things like you have to like give and take on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and just like how you were saying, 60% of the starting lineup should be in.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but then you look at a team like the Bucks, and it's like you could probably rip 60% of that offensive lineup out.
Yeah.
But if Giannis is still in, that number's not really going to change.
It's true.
So I think you should do it more based off of how the spread moves. Like for today, what was Utah -9, and now they are, I think, -2.
Yeah.
I think if that moves,
they're down to -1, and we're about to talk about that game.
I think if the spread moves more than like 5 to 6 points, it should be like the bets before that should be voided. But it's hard to do because then you look at totals and the guys that hit the under there are sitting golden, and then their bet gets voided because you pulled it out. So it's like it's hard to figure out where they would find like the middle in that.
Yeah. So my challenge to hashtag gambling Twitter is to think of your, brainstorm your best ideas. Let's send them all together. Let's get them out to these books, and let's figure out a way because you and I love betting on the NBA. As much as it frustrates us, right? But something has to be done about this. Because I'll be honest, I don't fault Utah for sitting everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
they're 4
mean,
down. We talked about this was going to be a stretch where Utah had a bunch of games in a row, right? With all the makeups, it makes sense that they're resting everybody.
yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just break into breaking down the game as it is. Um, do you have a starting lineup right now for the Jazz? I'm
I
trying to
do
figure out.
not.
I'm looking up on see if they've announced it yet.
My guess is it has to be some combination of they'll probably still leave Clarkson on the bench. So that pushes Ingles. I think Niang's going to start. Bogdanovich.
They haven't even announced the starting lineup yet. That's just terrible. All right.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking? Who will run point then if Conley doesn't start and they keep Clarkson?
To be honest, let me pull up their roster because I really don't know with all the guys they have out. It's just this is like once all that news came out, this game I just kind of did the Jimmy Butler. I balled it up and threw it away.
All right. Wait, is Clarkson out too?
I don't see him on the injury report.
Yeah, I just didn't see a price for him. Oh, they don't have any prices up for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the guys that played yesterday for him, and they're pulling Gobert, Conley, and Mitchell out of here. You'll have Royce O'Neal, Bogdanovich, Clarkson, Ingles, Niang, Ilyasova, Oni, and Morgan were the guys that played.
So I'm not really too familiar with Oni and Morgan. My bad. Are they cards?
Oni's a shooting guard. Morgan's a power forward. There were 7 minutes combined from them yesterday.
They got to start Clarkson then, right?
I think, yeah, they have to. Unless you're going to start just some shitty guard.
All right, guys. Well, we apologize for not having the most in-depth breakdown. Usually we do a better job NBA rundown of giving you the ins and outs of each game.
This game is just such a circus. It's just so hard.
You pull 4 or 5 guys. And also, this is a Utah team that's been relatively healthy all year. So it's not like some of these other teams like Toronto. So when they're out, like we know how they handle it. Utah's been relatively healthy here. How do you handicap this game with these guys in there? I guess we'll just assume that Clarkson's going to start. But regardless, he should still have an impact on the game, regardless of whether or not he starts or not. He'll definitely be finishing. How do you like this game now at the current number of Utah -1, total 215?
I'd probably still lean the over there because I think Utah's still just going to shoot a ton of threes. But the only bet I'd be willing to make in this game would be Clarkson's points because he's just going to get this straight. He's got the green light already. Well, the green light just got greener because now there's no one else to take the shots.
Yeah. All right. So this will be interesting. I mean, does Utah have a chance to make a crazy upset with this ragtag lineup, or is this just too much missing? I guess it's not an upset if they're favored by 1.
Yeah, I was about to say, can't really be an upset when the other team's actually better than them still. Because, I mean, Utah might be missing their guys, but they still got shooters on the floor.
Yeah.
One gets hot, all of a sudden the game still gets opened up.
I was tempted to jump in on the Lakers, but as of right now, this game's a complete pass. Let's just move on to the next game, and I think this will probably end up being my favorite game, but I want to talk through all these with you before we make the final decision to give out the best bets. Guys, if you like the show, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Next game, Cleveland Cavaliers 20-35, 23-32 against the spread. Head to Chicago to take on the Bulls. Levine, this isn't a contact deal. He really does have COVID, so he will be out for a while. Now, here's the reason I haven't even placed this bet yet. Thomas Satoransky was a late scratch yesterday, right? And that really screwed us up in our ability to handicap the game. We really liked the way that Sato had moved into the starting lineup, and I thought the Sato-Kobe White combination could be okay, but losing him, it was just too much, and Memphis rolled all over them. But playing Memphis, who's a well-coached, tough, talented team, now you go to Cleveland here. So I still like Chicago, especially if Satoransky plays. But, I mean, this team's terrible. Tyler, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I was reading it all last night. I do need a better job of remembering these. I think they're like, 3-8 since the trade or something? I mean, like, it's
not... they had the giant chemistry issues right when they made the trade. That their record just shows that it just takes time to get guys implemented into that. And when you make big trades like that midseason through, it's just so hard to get them guys together and playing well on the fly.
And scrolling through, trying to figure out what day that trade was actually made. Cleveland beat them in Chicago by 9 as recently as March 24th. So that might be something to take into factor too. But I still lean Chicago here to get back on track. But what do you think of this game, and how do you think like Vukovic and Jared Allen will do matched up against each other?
I mean, there's one name that sticks out to me on this injury report that I don't see that makes me want to take Cleveland here, and that's Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I don't see either of the Sexland guards on there.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost to Golden State in their last game, but they also had a guy on the other side that's just been nuclear from outside. He's just raining threes and scoring points left and right in Curry. And when you look at Chicago, it's like they're missing their guy that does that in Levine now.
Yeah, I
don't trust their guards. It's going to be Vucevic that has to dominate. And I also don't see either of the Cleveland bigs on this injury report, which means he's going to have troubles down low. So I lean the Cleveland side, and I
Do you
love the
think that
over here.
Allen can even trouble him though? Don't you think Allen's a little small?
I think Allen can. He's a good shot blocker. I don't think he could stop him in the post as much, but he can give him troubles.
All right, that's fair. Um, yeah, so you make some good points here about this lineup. When I'm looking, I'm trying to pull up just the Bulls lineup so I can go over them name by name. My issue and the reason that I haven't made this play yet, well, obviously I want to wait for Satoransky. There's not a lot of plus defenders on this team. Vukovic, not a very good defender. Kobe White, terrible, terrible. If the Bulls were better, his bad defense would get more attention.
Yeah,
Markkanen, really limited defender. I think he can really only defend like slow people in the post, which Cleveland doesn't have a lot of. Maybe you could put him against Kevin Love and get an okay. Now Thad Young to me is a plus defender.
yeah, he's the Swiss Army knife on that team. He could go wherever they want him.
Yeah, Satoransky is average, but for a point guard, that's pretty good because point guards are traditionally like the weakest defenders overall because they're all so fast and athletic. There's not a lot you can do. Patrick Williams to me right now is average with the potential to be very, very good. He's still learning the league. Garrett Temple's not that bad. You know what? This team's not that bad, I guess. Temple and Tice as well give me some all right defense. We're gonna come back to this. Oh, a guy, comment wars here. Says his coach Sexton's older brother. That's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna come back to this game though. I'm kind of tempted by Chicago, but I think you can make some definite good cases for Cleveland here as well. So don't love it. Total's 212, pretty low. Cavaliers haven't been scoring, and we're missing Levine. What do you think?
I still like the over there. I think Cleveland's
low,
guards. I think Cleveland's guards have their way today, and I think if Vucevic, like Cleveland's gonna or Chicago's gonna have to score. Mm-hmm. It's going to be from Vucevic, regardless of how much defense they put on him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that 212 is a little short.
Who do you think will have a better game, Sexton or Garland, if you're making a DFS lineup?
I mean, for DFS, it's tough because Sexton doesn't really nothing but score. Mm-hmm. And Garland's just like, he's either going to get you 20 points in 5 or he's going to get you 10 in 4. So it's like, I don't know. Probably stay away from both of them.
Okay. All right.
It's a better question for the DFS guys, though.
No, I know, and I'm just trying to help out a little because this is the only day we don't have them on here, and I know that we do get some the Run Pure Sports guys that are more watching the show for the DFS. So try and touch on them a little here.
Oh, we could touch on them. That was just a tough one to throw me.
I definitely didn't prep you on that one, right? I let you know that the Utah Jazz question was coming, but not that one. But hey, you handled it admirably. Let's talk about the Detroit Pistons, 17-39, 29-23 against the spread, heading to Washington to take on the Wizards, who, despite it probably being not best for the franchise or making a run at that 10th spot, Russell Westbrook has been on fire. I mean, he's definitely, talk about a spend up in DFS. I think that going against this Detroit backcourt, I wouldn't mind him at all. Looking at this Detroit team here, so originally, Tyler, last night, I was before the line came out, I was targeting Washington, but I thought they were going to put it at -2 or -3, right? This line came out at 5.5. Detroit took overnight money, which doesn't surprise me. Most overnight money comes in on dogs because early bettors are usually sharper and they don't want to just play favorites. Favorite money usually slides in closer to tip, right? That doesn't surprise me that Detroit took a little money, but at this 4.5, it really got me off of the game. And actually, it's since I had this at 3, but I thought that maybe my line would be a little wrong with Washington playing so much better lately. I was going to be looking to Washington, but I don't know if I like it here anymore. We look at Detroit. They have been covering a little bit better as of late. Obviously they beat Oklahoma City. They covered against the Clippers, except for against the closing line. But, most people who played them against the Clippers won that game. They covered against the Clippers before that. And before that, they failed to cover against Portland, but they were pretty close. And then, of course, they beat Sacramento before that. I don't know here. I don't know what to do with this game. Originally, it seemed like a Wizards spot. The more I look, the more I lean towards Detroit. What do you think about this game?
What I'm going to start doing every day in the NBA is picking out a certain game, and I'm going to identify it as the late injury report fuck you game.
All right.
Today, that's the Washington game.
Okay.
I think that number's a little short. I think one of them two guys sit, and I don't think you get that injury news until late. And I mean, looking at the Detroit side,
did you see their injury report? I mean,
Smith's still questionable. Report. Joseph's questionable. Grant's questionable. Diallo's questionable. Magruder's questionable. Ellington's probable. Hayes is doubtful. 90% of their guards are out or like questionable. So it's tough. I mean, I want to
Saban
take
Lee season.
Washington. Yeah, definitely Saban Lee season, but it's like I want to take Washington in this game,
Yeah.
but I also want to know if both of them guys are playing.
All right,
Once
guys.
I have that, if I have that news, I'm all over Washington. But until then, I'm waiting.
Yeah, guys. I know we like to give out a pick and lean on every play, but with this Detroit injury report looking the way it does, I think that we are going to have to wait. I mean, I guess Tyler, if we're not going to pick the game, we can guess. Like, do you think Jeremy Grant plays?
I think there's a good chance he plays. He didn't play last night, so I mean, what's he got to rest for?
I don't even know what they're doing. I mean, at this point, they have the top three pretty much locked up. Difference between 1 and 2 is nothing. It's 13%. So Esco asked, should I lock and whiz now? No, 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 no.
I
I will
say
wait.
no because I think you might get late injury report news on one of the two big names on Washington's side.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to wait on this game. So guys, I know we like
Especially
to give out,
they went to overtime last night and they almost went to double overtime if it wasn't for that foul call at the end.
yeah, I know how wasn't that a wild game?
The phantom foul call.
Yeah. Tyler, let's talk about a fun game that we know who's starting, who's playing, and
Do we though, spread? Because we got injury news in this one.
I'm talking about Golden State and Boston. Do we have
Yeah,
injury news in that one?
Jaylen Brown's questionable.
You got to be kidding me.
Yep, came out 8 minutes ago. Questionable.
I just see it. I scroll down and I see it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Well, we're going to handicap it anyways. Oh, how do you play this game if you don't know if Jaylen Brown's in? That's one of my huge factors in this handicap. I love
That's a
Jaylen Brown's
defensive body you can throw at Curry.
Yeah, because you want to mix it up on him. I mean, I don't know. They'll probably throw smart on Curry as well.
It's nice to be able to switch, though, as they throw screens around. It's like, oh, here comes Brown, back to Smart, to Tatum. It's like the one guy he could torch there is Walker.
Yeah, everyone's torching Walker nowadays. The decline of Kemba Walker, to me, is one of the saddest things in recent NBA. As far as this guy's in Charlotte, he's getting no love, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, this is one of the best players in the NBA, right? He goes to Boston, does all right for his first season. He's got a degenerative knee condition. He's never going to be that player again.
He was always good on offense, but we always knew his defense was going to be bad. And then he gets on a win. He gets on a winning team. Now we have to like focus on his defense, and now everyone wants to push him down the list a little bit more. Just wait till Atlanta gets into the playoffs, and everyone wants to drop Trae Young all the way down the list.
Yeah,
because he's going to get torched.
Yeah, he hit so many clutch shots for that Charlotte team. I loved watching him there, and most people ignored it. And now people are going to remember him as this player, and this is not the guy that he was. You know, beware of guards that are over 30 guys. So, God, I can't believe they did that to us. 8 minutes. Well, at least they did during the show. Okay, so we're going to handicap it. I don't know. Do you want to handicap it with Brown in? Do you want to handicap it with Brown out?
I'm going to handicap it with Brown out because it shows non-COVID illness, which means he ain't playing. This is the I'm going to sit. We don't need this game.
But how can they say they don't need the game? I mean, they are fighting for playoff position here.
They're all the way up to the 4 seed.
Yeah, but they want to keep it, right?
Yeah, but
that gives you home court in the first round.
I think they're one of the hotter teams in the East right now.
Oh, they definitely are. That's what I was just going to bring up. 6 wins in a row. They beat the Lakers. And this is on a road trip. Lakers, Portland, and Denver on a road trip. That's just fantastic. Before that, they had beat New York and Minnesota at home, so they're on 5 in a row. But don't look now. Golden State's won 4 in a row against Houston, Denver, OKC, and Cleveland. So obviously not as impressive. Because of that, I was leaning towards the Celtics here. I saw the 4.5 last night, but this is why I'm not betting overnights anymore. You know what my handicapping at night is like? It's just, let me just look.
Take a quick glance at the game.
I don't think I've bet an overnight since like January when I was
kind of play it out in your head, see how you would think the game would go, and then see the injury report in the morning.
Yeah, it's just pre-prep for this morning when I'm going to make the actual decisions. You can't bet an overnight in the NBA anymore on sides. On totals, I think you can because I don't think Jaylen Brown affects the total as much as the side. Would you agree with me there?
To a point. Because I think if he's out, I think the defense takes a little bit of a hit for the Boston side.
The offense does as well, so
a little bit. It's tough.
Yeah, and Comment War says Golden State needs to win games in a bad way.
Yeah, they're sitting in that 9 seed.
I don't know if they really care though.
I don't think they do.
I really don't think they care. I really think that they're just already looking at next year. They're kind of a championship or bust mentality. The fans, it's not like the Sacramento fans or the Bulls fans, or the Phoenix fans that are getting excited for a playoff berth because they haven't been there for so long. I mean, this team has championship expectations now. Their fan base has championship expectations, and gosh, Steph's getting old really quick. Did you realize he's over 33?
Yeah. How'd you feel about the comment where they said this is that point in Steph's career where Kobe was at after he won his first 2 championships? Then he had to play with guys like Smush Parker in them. And it's
Yeah.
like now we see Curry running around with all these scrubs.
Yeah. and me, I love Steph. I mean, I don't not like Kobe, but I think that sometimes because of the Lakers fans, they overrate him a tad when they're doing their all time greats. But that's completely subjective and doesn't even matter for handicapping. But I think Kobe's team was even worse than the guys.
Oh yeah, that Kobe team was bad.
They're like, oh, you want to see how life is without Shaq? Like, we'll show
Like,
you
here
life
you go.
without Shaq.
That's why he wanted to trade it to Detroit.
Yeah. Can you imagine how much different NBA history is if that goes through? I thought it was Chicago.
Was it Chicago?
I thought it was.
Oh yeah, it was Chicago because he
deal.
wanted to play with Luol Deng, but they wanted to pick up Deng in that trade.
Yeah. Oh, comment wars. This is fine. Sorry guys, this show's going all over the place today, but with these injuries,
I seen that report you're about to put on the screen.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Golden State will make a huge run for Kawhi Leonard.
It makes sense. I mean,
I would love that. Do you think he'll leave LA though?
If they go into the playoffs with a legit chance, and Paul George shuts off again, and he's trying to do it all by himself, and they lose, he's out. Why stay? You just seen your sidekick can't do it twice in a row.
Yeah,
like, what are you waiting for? The third time's a charm. He's gonna fold on you again.
Right. Like I'm like, play with Steph, play with PG. Like
play with Steph
option, right?
on a team that's won a championship already, knows how to get there and win. Yeah. I'd go play with him.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've done everything but handicap this game. Let's make an attempt, Tyler. Boston -5, total 228.5. Where are you looking?
I mean, we'll cap it with Brown out, so I mean, this should just be the Tatum show. Yeah. Smart should be all over Curry, but I mean, having Brown out takes a body away. I'd probably still lean over that 228 because I think Tatum's going to get all the volume in the world. He's going to light him up, and I think even though Smart's one of the better defenders, he can't be on Curry for 48 minutes, so Curry's going to get his shots.
Yeah, I kind of lean under here. I think this is going to be a slow-paced game, and I also think that there is the potential for the Golden State dud. Let's look at this road trip here. So they took off on the 12th, which was 5 days ago. They played in Oklahoma City and Cleveland. I guess it's not that grueling so far. Boston, the dreaded first game back from the road trip, but they did get an extra day to get everything there. So we're opposite on the side. On the total. What do you think of the side? I still like Boston, but Tyler, I'll tell you what. I told you before we started. I rewatched. I love this thing on the PlayStation where you can go back and rewatch the old games. I rewatched when Boston visited Golden State last night, and it was on February 2nd, and both teams were pretty much full. It was pretty cool. The main injury was no Wiseman, so I got to watch the team with no Wiseman. Boston looked good in that game, and it was in Golden State. Am I putting too much credence into that just one game?
I mean, I don't think so, but this is also, don't you like to target spots where they're finishing up the road trip? And this is the last game before they head home.
Is it? I didn't look ahead on this.
Yeah, they go home to play the Bulls on Monday. So this is their last of the Western road trip.
They're going to smack the Bulls. Let's start handicapping Monday's games. I like that. I like that pick better. Okay, yeah, I definitely do think there's an issue there. And I also I don't give the full home court advantage on that first game back.
Yeah. That's my only worry here on the Boston side is they're just ready to go home against a weaker Golden State team after winning most of their games on this road trip.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they might come out and just be like, nah.
Tyler, my main worry right now is that we're 2/3 of the way through the card, and I don't really know what my best bet's going to be. Tyler.
It's a tough card.
Hey, Jaylen Brown, I think is not going to play because this line moved to 3.5 while we were having
Yeah, he ain't playing.
All right. Without Jaylen Brown, I'm laying 3.5. I still kind of like Boston. Am I crazy?
I don't think so.
Why am I underrating the Warriors so much? I loved them like 2 months ago. What did they do to me to make me not like them anymore?
come out and just not try in a couple games.
Then I shouldn't like anybody in the NBA. I mean, if you show me a team that gave full effort every night, that's not
You'd
named the
be a Knicks
Thunder.
fan.
Yeah. Oh, you got me there. You got me there. That's there. We should talk about how awesome that was. And I love when Wobe tweets that old New York Knicks rap song. Whenever they would hit the music. All right. Well, I lean Boston there. I don't know if I love it. It looks like Jaylen Brown will not play by that line movement. Do you think there's any chance we get some funky injury news from the Warriors here, or do you think that we're pretty? We can count on Steph and Dre and Wiggins. I guess those are the ones I'm worried about.
I mean, I'd hope they play, judging by the fact that they didn't play last night.
Yeah.
Like they were not on a back-to-back. They have a day off. All three of those guys should be in.
Yeah.
The only one I see that could be rolled out would be Oubre, but he's already listed questionable. So
yeah, and I told you before the show, I don't know how much that means. I think that Steve Kerr's done a terrible job of implementing Oubre and running the system towards his strengths. You know, having being a corner shooting three shooter, that's not his game.
No, he's a slasher.
He's a slasher, yeah, and they're not using it correctly. I don't think they're going to re-sign him because of the luxury tax, and I think he's going to go to another team and make the impact that I expected him to make for Golden State this year. And
Yep.
I'll tell you what, if there's any season that we talk about dropping our like views of someone, I don't think this has been the best job of Steve Kerr this year.
Yeah.
He's really starting to get heat from the local fan base, from the local media. Where before, I mean, the guy was walking on air, couldn't do no wrong. You know, especially in the Bay Area, right? They loved his little. Like,
well, I mean, I think anybody coaching that team would have been walking on air. We've seen Luke Walton go like.
I mean, that's the indictment.
50-3.
He went 31-4, I think.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah. And then he gets a job off it. Now they won't fire him because they're still looking back on that.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable how bad he is. But we don't want to get started on that, Tyler. We're having a happy Saturday. Let's jump into the next game. Memphis Grizzlies 28-26, 33-20 against the spread. Head to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. 35-20, 24 and 30 against the spread. So Tyler, I told you that I thought this was going to be a square day. And when we did this last night, but there's a couple games I changed my mind on, mainly Detroit and this one. As far as now, I'm favoring the dog. Memphis. We talked about them yesterday and how much problems we have handicapping this team. But I like the way they match up here against this Milwaukee team, and I'm catching 8. So my idea is that they're going to keep it close here, and you know, they've just played well. So on the Bucks side, we're missing DiVincenzo. Now, I had that a little bit wrong because I thought that Connaughton would go in the starting lineup for him. They put Bryn Forbes in the starting lineup, and Connaughton still comes off the bench. Connaughton had a good game yesterday.
Forbes is a hell of a shooter, too.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how this Bucks lineup works. But other than that, let me double check. But I don't see any other news for this game. This is a fairly clean game, huh?
Yep.
On the injury report? This is weird. Clark, Melton, and Winslow are all questionable. I mean, they haven't played for so long. Just like, whatever. I guess Clark matters.
Yeah, Clark's just that extra big body they can
Winslow's played like 5 games in the last 3 years.
Winslow hasn't mattered since he came out of Duke. Let's be real.
Remember all the shtick Jordan got for passing on him?
Yeah, and then Miami got this steal at number 12.
Yeah, number 10, I think it was. But I can't remember what number it was. But yeah, definitely. And I thought he was going to be good too. I liked him a lot. So let's talk about this game. I lean towards taking the points here. Totals 238. You know, I usually just lean over on the higher totals. So I like the dog and the over. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, we'll definitely have Giannis back, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is on a back-to-back. I'm pulling up the numbers now to see how they've done against the spread on a back-to-back. I mean, with Giannis back in the lineup, they're probably going to put Drew Holiday on Jaw. Middleton should just feast on Dylan Brooks. I think that 8
Dylan
short.
Brooks had himself a night last night.
Yeah, but those are very few far in between. And usually when those come, here comes a donut night. So, and Middleton's a solid defender too. I mean, he could stifle him. And then where's the points come from on the Memphis side? Joe Val isn't going to beat this team up inside. So, I mean,
so?
I don't think so.
Brook Lopez on him?
I mean, even if Giannis is standing down there, I think Giannis can block his shots.
Yeah, but they're going to keep Giannis on the wing to be patrolling the passing lanes, wouldn't you think?
To a point. I mean, I just think this is a bad matchup for Memphis. There's a lot of guys that can shut down their main scorers. I just think it's going to be tough for them to score. The more I look at this game, that's probably going to be my bet.
Yeah. The one thing I would say to push back and just kind of give a little on my side would be, gosh, I'm trying to pull it up right now. I had it up earlier. When they played earlier, it was really close. Let me go ahead and
I want to know if Drew Holiday played in that game.
All right, I'll pull it up. Let me find the date. They lost by 1. They were in Memphis, and it was on the March 4th. So let me go back to March 4th, and I can read the box score from that game. Oh, March. Why did I go to April 4th? Yeah, do you think that was when Holiday was out?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Giannis had 26, 11, and 8. Ja had 30 something, 6 and 5. That just looking at Ja's numbers, I would think that he's out.
You said March 4th? Here, I got it.
Holiday played.
Holiday did play.
They had the.
He played 23 minutes though. He was coming off the bench. He was on his minute restriction.
That must have been the minutes restriction because Augustine started.
Yeah, and you also had Brandon Clark and Melton in that game.
Do you like Melton? I think he's a cool little bench player.
Great bench player.
I really like Clark a lot. Our guy Justice Winslow actually played in that game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at those three guys, Clark 6'8" 1, Winslow 6'2", 6'10" 2.
I love that line.
And Melton 6'2" 1. You're taking all three of them guys off the bench, and Drew Holiday is going to play 30+ minutes.
But that gives me more. That gives me more Xavier Tillman and Desmond Bain. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean Desmond Bain for sure, but I don't know about Tillman. I think the Bucks smash here.
All right. Well, we are opposite today because I like the Grizzlies plus the points there. What do you think of the total? I like the over.
I like the over too. Memphis played last night. They love to push the pace. I think their defense takes a bit of a hit today, and I just think Milwaukee shoots them out of the gym. Yeah, give me the over.
Milwaukee's the better coach, Taylor Jenkins or Mike Budenholzer?
We talking regular season?
No, just in general.
Taylor
general. Jenkins has never coached a playoff games.
Just in general, it's still got to be Budenholzer for me.
All right.
Regular season, though, Budenholzer by a mile.
Budenholzer slander will never get old to me.
His slander for me starts once the playoffs start.
As he runs Giannis 32 minutes a night in the playoffs, like it's like just some mid-afternoon.
The moment they run into something that's not working, that's when you bet against them. We seen it last year when they ran into Miami. We knew Miami was going to be troubles for them.
Yeah.
Bet them every game. What happened? It took 5 games.
Well, I read that he thinks that
he doesn't change. He's stuck in his ways. He doesn't adjust once the playoffs start. He just keeps running the same thing out there.
An inconsistent message, so he's afraid of that.
Yep.
Let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs heading down to Phoenix to take on the Suns. The Spurs plus 9.5. This opened at 9. Suns took a little bit of money. I think that money was justified. I messaged you last night when we were doing this that this is the 5th game in 7 nights for San Antonio. Seems like a complete fatigue fade. The thing is, do we trust Phoenix to put on the afterburners, or do you think they slow down in the 4th, kind of like they did against the Kings on that nice cover that I got the other night? How are you approaching this game? I'm originally leaning the Suns on the fatigue fade. 9.5's a lot. I'm not necessarily too excited to jump in right away.
The big thing that sticks out to me in this game is you have Utah at the game ahead of them, right?
Yeah.
And now Utah's sitting all their guys at 3:00.
Yeah.
They lose that game. Phoenix is staring at this game tonight with a team that's going to be fully fatigued. They could just go out and blast them and take the 1 seed or tie it. So, I mean, I think this is a smash spot for them. You get Cam Johnson just announced in on the Spurs side. That gives another scorer off the bench.
No, Cam Johnson's on the Phoenix side.
Oh, yeah, off to the Phoenix side, yeah. So, I mean, that gives you another scorer off the bench. Yeah, I mean, I only see 2 other guys, Nader and Trey Lyles.
And I don't think Nader's played for a while. And Trey Lyles, how often does he play? Like, what does he get, 10 minutes a night?
Yep.
And they're not even good minutes. It's not like it's not replaceable.
I think Booker kills him. I think Ayton has another big game. We all know CP3 is going to bring the effort here with the team. Bridges will take out their best scorer. I think Phoenix covers here. I think this is one of them games, too. You could do the trifecta. First quarter, first half, full game.
I don't hate that. I do not hate that at all. Let's take a look at San Antonio's recent results. This has been a weird team.
They went into the All-Star break looking like they had a chance, and then they just decided that they didn't want to have a chance.
Didn't they look like the team that you didn't want to play? The proverbial don't want to play them in the first round, right?
Yeah, they had a ton of wing defenders, and it's like they might not be the biggest team, but they can stifle you on the defensive end. So it's like
So they lost to Portland without Dame last night. That was another one. I was complaining to you that for whatever reason my DirecTV wouldn't let me watch it on my TV. I had to have it on the PlayStation. I don't have my PlayStation in my back room with all the TVs, so I actually didn't see it. I was just following along. Did you watch that game? Because I know that it was one of our plays, or were you just so disgusted with the Dame news? Did you just kind of wipe it from your memory?
I just watched the game cast on that one.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I wasn't really sure how they played. I mean, obviously, San Antonio had a nice lead there, right? And then they allowed Portland to come back, but I didn't know like what the catalyst was for the comeback.
I think it was that kid. You know how certain teams are, like when their main guy gets announced out, it's like they come out slow and then they slowly pick back up the pace, and it looks like that's what happened last night. Yeah. San Antonio came out with their full guys. They said, all right, we're going to play. They took the lead. Portland had to adjust without Lillard, and then once they were adjusted, they took the game over.
Yeah, so then the game before that, they lost to Toronto, which to me was a terrible loss because Toronto sat almost everybody that game, right?
And they sat everybody last night, and look what happened. Paul Watson.
Yeah, but that was against the Magic.
Yeah.
Or Orlando, they beat Orlando. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, okay, they beat a G League team. They beat Dallas. That was the next win.
Which is an interdivision rivalry, interstate too, and they beat them by 2. So, I mean,
that's a good win, though.
It's a good win, but it's also like one of the things like they see that team 4 times a year. It's kind of like when NFL teams beat interdivision teams. It's like we always see these teams beat up on each other.
And for whatever reason, the Texas teams have more of a rivalry.
It's just that Texas. Just Texas for you. That's all it is.
So, all right. Well, we like we reluctantly like the chalk here, huh, Tyler? I mean,
it's Chalk City on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make some nice arguments for the Spurs to keep us close here. Even if it was like 4-7, but 5 games in 7 nights,
that's
just
tough.
Too much. I think Occam's handicap, the simplest handicaps, most oftentimes the best. Let's go ahead and just keep it simple. We got a really tired team against a team that should be motivated.
How many of these games were on the road too?
Top spot. Only like half.
In these last couple ones.
So Portland was their first game home off the road trip. Before that, they had 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 5.
Yeah, so of these 5 of 7 they've played, these 5 games in 7 days. They were in Dallas. The next day they had to fly all the way to Orlando. The next day, they're in Tampa, so they didn't have to go that far to play Toronto.
Right.
And now they went back home to play Portland, and now they're back on the plane to go to Phoenix.
Yeah, we're fading the Spurs.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm betting the Spurs.
We're not even betting on the Suns. We're fading the Spurs.
Yep.
All right. Are we even touching the total, or did we already find the right side? So we're cool.
I'm fine with the sides here. My worry about the total is like you can get Phoenix that comes out and just lights them up, and then the Spurs just give you very little on the offensive end. So maybe a Spurs team total under, Phoenix team total over. Kind of, yeah.
That fits our game script, huh?
Yeah, I'd be worried to take an over there, and you have Phoenix hang 120. And then you look on the Spurs side, and they give you 99.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Tyler. Usually this is like my favorite portion of the show. I'm a Greg. We got Gregory Russo. This is his favorite portion of the show. I don't know how much we really found here today, but we're going to make our best bet. But before we do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, head on over to runpurebets.com, check out all the top-notch gambling information we have to offer. The team has been on fire this month, and if you're like me and you don't have time to handicap all these sports, but you still want the action, we got JJ and Joey giving baseball plays. They have been fantastic. We got the Keg giving UFC and NASCAR winners. Fantastic. Score with D. If you're watching, I'm waiting for you. I need some MLS DGen action tonight. I'm waiting for that. I want to watch some soccer tonight. And of course, we got HTP giving you all the fire props. Tyler's giving you props. I love sides and totals in the NBA. We got a great team over there. So please head on over to runpurebets.com. For your first month, use the promo code BETS25 off to go ahead and see everything that we have to offer. So now that the promo's out of the way, Tyler, let's go on to best bets. I'm starting with you. Give me a little more time to decide what I want.
I mean, tough card.
It is.
Give me Milwaukee -8.
All right.
As a home favorite this year, they're winning games by a margin of victory at 9 points. I think Memphis comes in fatigued. I think the matchups are bad for them. I think Drew Holiday shuts down Morant, and that just stifles that whole offense. Milwaukee wins this one by 15.
All right. Did we get Satoransky moves? Can you check that for me real
Questionable.
quick? Still questionable, okay? Because I see that the line went back to 2.5 on Chicago.
We got news on the Detroit guards, though.
Oh, let's hear it.
Killian Hayes out. Dennis Smith out.
Okay.
Frank Jackson questionable. Roddy Magruder out. Diallo now probable, and Corey Joseph probable. And Seku's also probable, so probably all three of those guys play.
Does that mean Jeremy Grant's playing? Because now he's not on the list anymore.
Yeah, I don't see his name, so he's playing.
What did that line move to? Still 4.5?
Tough one, huh?
I mean, so I could tell you who I like in each game. First game, don't bet it. Second game, I like the Pistons. Third game, I like the Bulls. Celtics game, I like the Celtics. I like the Grizzlies, but I'm definitely not going against your best bet. We've already talked about that. And I like the Suns. So
I mean, you've been on the heater. You might cancel mine out.
No, I'm not. I'm not going against you. That game's out. We got plenty. Because I actually, the more that it's not that I love these spots, but I kind of like them all equally. Gosh, all right. I've just narrowed it down to the Bulls and the Suns. Let's take a favorite, and we're gonna fade the Cavaliers. Chicago Bulls -2.5. NBA rundown pick of the day. It will be in the Discord for the Run Pure Bets subscribers. Everybody, thank you for hanging out. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. So the official best bets: Milwaukee -8, Chicago -2.5.
I say we just go ahead and make an agreement that a co-bet is the Suns minus their points too. That'll just be our double. Yeah.
A bonus. All right. We got 3 best plays today. Suns -9.5 is also going to be a play for us. Guys, thank you everybody for hanging out. Tomorrow we will not be here, but if you are a Run Pure Sports member, Keg will be live. He'll be on with Coop, be crushing the NASCAR winners. If you're a Run Pure Bets member, Keg's going live tonight for the UFC. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of times I'm not even watching the stream. I'm just getting the plays in the Discord, putting it on. So you get 2 options. Even if you don't have time, Saturday night, you could have family, party, birthday party, something. You just get your Discord, keep the notifications on. You can slip away and place that bet real quick. So you're still covered even if you are busy on a Saturday night and not able to sweat the live show with everybody. So it's a great time, guys. Great time to get involved. We were having a great month right now. Baseball has been on fire. Great job, Joey Work. Score with D. If you're watching, I'm waiting for those MLS plays. And Tyler, anything else?
Nope. Let's just get these games started and let's get these winners.
We'll be back at Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Run Pure.